Hello, guys. This is a special episode of Bravo While Black crossing over with.
Amanda from It's All Happening. Thank you for
Oh,
having me for this bonus. This is like such a fun surprise.
right. It was definitely a last minute thing. I am here, with Aaron. We are actually not in the same room this time.
We're not.
It's like one of our OG before we have guest Zooms. And we are, respectively taping on Zoom, and we are bringing you a special episode of Bravo While Black, and It's All Happening in honor of Southern Charm New Orleans. But we're going to get into some other things too.
There's been so much happening right now. Like, it's all happening. I feel like Bravo is lucky that there's been a lot of gossip because it kept us all from talking about that shit show they tried to display last night on TV.
Oh,
so we don't even need to get into that.
We don't, but I would just like to announce that it had its lowest ratings ever. So anyways, yeah, and that's all we'll say about that.
But the rest of us were all busy watching Southern Charm New Orleans, season 1, episode 1, and it was so much fun to actually be interacting with everyone watching it, because when I watched it this week for the first time, I was just binging it on my own, and I would message you, but you weren't watching it at the same time. So it's been so fun for everyone to do it together.
Yeah, I found this show last year after the original Southern Charm, which was kind of dry because Thomas Ravenel isn't on it, and you guys don't know who I'm talking about, but he's like the problematic dude on Southern Charm. He left, and like it was just a dry season. But I was just like, okay, so there's 2 other Southern Charms. There's Southern Charm Savannah, which I couldn't find literally anywhere. And then there's Southern Charm New Orleans. And it just happened to be the time that Southern Charm New Orleans was airing. So I watched the first season, and then I watched the second season. I'm like, okay, where the heck is the third season? And this is the thing, you guys. Earlier this year, there were murmurs that the show got canceled. Now, this was pre the Black Lives Matter reawakening thing, okay? There was rumors that it got canceled. I just want to tell you guys that it's not officially canceled, number 1. Number 2, it's still on the Bravo TV's website. The Wikipedia says that, there's a season 3 that might be in production. And there's also in the bio of all of the cast members, they still have Southern Charm New Orleans, number 3, 4, whatever number this is. I think that it may be coming back because this is a perfect show to have in this environment where we're demanding more, where we're demanding diversity, where we're demanding, inclusiveness. This show has everything: Black people, white people, LGBT. They talk about the hard things. And also, I don't know if you guys seen, but Tamika, Barry, and the very fine John Moody is going to be on the Race in America special that premieres November 1st at 10 p.m. It's about voting. So before we dive into Southern Charm New Orleans, I want to talk about the Race in America special and voting, and then we can get to the fun stuff. Are you registered to vote, Amanda?
I am definitely registered to vote. I am old enough to have voted in the last 2 elections, so this will be my 3rd time, and I am so excited. I'm nervous, I'm anxious, but I feel like I've done a lot to prepare myself. I wrote postcards to voters in North Carolina, which is more of a swing state, to try to get them to go out and vote.
Tell me about that.
So one of my neighbors who, knew that I would be interested kind of got a group of us together, and we got together outside. We wrote postcards to voters in North Carolina, and it was through this program called Postcards to Swing States. And I didn't realize this, but your voting record is public information, not who you vote for, but whether you vote. Yeah. So we were able to get names and addresses and whether the people were first-time voters or previous voters. So all we did was write a couple of sentences, and it was the same thing for each person. It's like a tried and true, basically just telling them that they need to vote, and whether they vote or not, people will know, and they could be contacted if they don't vote. And it's supposed to really get people to like freak out maybe and decide, hey, I need to go out there. And it doesn't say who to vote for, but you know what the message is. They're all Democratic voters or independents. Right. We only wrote postcards to those voters. So yes. But it was great because I feel like I actually did something more than just, casting my own vote.
You're active about it. That's amazing.
Yeah. Exactly. And I love you guys going on Instagram Live, showing everyone what the process is to check your voter registration and to go through that process with everyone, because you have so many followers and you can really reach a lot of people that way. So that's great too. That's another way to be active.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, I mean, we weren't able to talk about it on our last podcast because we were just so excited to have our girl Taria on. Hey Taria, if you're listening, we know you listen all the time. But we didn't talk about it. But Aaron and I went live. I actually registered to vote.
Yes, and it was Kay's first time.
I am so humiliated because like I know that I should have voted before, but let me explain in depth why this was so important to me and why I didn't vote before. So check me out. 2012, I had just turned 18 in like December, but I was able to vote before that. Yeah, because you can register to vote. Can you register to vote when you're like 17?
I think it depends on your state, but I think you can register to vote. You just can't actually vote if you're not going to be 18 before, but you can register to get ready for it. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I had already turned 18. So the thing was, like, I already knew that Obama was winning, and like, okay, I'm going to be honest, having a Black president wasn't a big deal to me when I was younger because like Obama had been president since 2008. So that's when I was like in middle school. He was president when I was in high school. And then when I was younger, I'm like, okay, well, Obama is our president. We have a Black president. That's cool. It's never happened before. So I was just like, I'm chilling. He won in 2012. Okay, 2016. I just really did not think that this country would let a dude that I saw on reality TV run the country. So I didn't think that, Donald Trump would win.
Right, so, it's like Ramona, Ramona Singer running for president.
Like, why is everyone freaking out? Are you serious to me right now? You think they're gonna let the dude from Home Alone 2 win? And he won. and he won. Okay. And then not only did he win, he became a total monster. Like, I did not realize it was going to be this bad because believe you me, had I known even like an inkling of what was going to happen, my Black ass would have been first in line. So I learned my lesson in 2016. And throughout these 4 years, seeing what's unfolded, not just with, Black people, but also LGBT people who are disabled, people who, don't make a lot of money, just like the way that this guy moves. I'm like, okay, this is now my responsibility to sign up, vote, whether I think that it counts or not. Like, it actually, it does count. And on top of that, I just feel like, I can honestly say that I tried everything that I could to do my civic duty and get this dude out of office. But another thing that we said on our live and we wanted to stress is that even if, God forbid, Trump gets reelected, this doesn't mean that the fight is over. We still have to keep fighting. We still have to keep going. We still have to keep asking for reform. We still have to keep protesting. We still have to, keep this momentum going, even if we don't get the results that we want. And I also feel as though if Biden wins, we also shouldn't feel like, okay, Biden won, all the problems are gone away. No, that's not true. We still have to keep going no matter who wins. But, you know, registering to vote and making sure that I vote and getting my mail-in ballot, because, you know, I'm not waiting in that line. I'm not going in person. I'm just going to fill it out and I'm going to drop it off. But like, the fight is just never going to be over, but registering to vote and voting is my first step. And we wanted to do it live just in case someone didn't know how easy and quick it was. And, you know, I mean, we have a platform and this is like what we wanted to do.
And I feel like sometimes it's very discouraging to just looking at things around you and the way that they're going. It seems like you don't really have control. So I do understand, oh, this is so annoying. Like it's like you get in that mindset where it's like, why does my vote really count if they're going to do what they want to do anyway and they're going to put who they want in? But it's like we just have to force ourselves to stay, you know, as positive and and be as encouraging as we can possibly be.
Especially in the Black community, I feel like, you know, there are Black people that I know who are like, you know what, they don't really care about us. And like, I understand why they feel that way, because it absolutely feels like the government does not care about Black people. And like, it doesn't matter what we say, it doesn't matter our opinion or anything. But I think also another point that we wanted to stress was that this isn't just about the presidential election. Like, we have to vote about who's in the Senate and like who our judges are and like our commissioners are and like all of these things. If you want real change, like, we might not be able to get the head dude out of the office, but listen, just Google who's in control of your city, who's in control of your police department, who's in charge of allocating funds. Things as like, you know, as simple as that. Like, there's multiple times that you vote within the 4 years too. Like, it's not just every 4 years. Like, you vote for governor, you vote for mayor, like this and that. So just like instilling that in our minds, and then, you know, just talking about it with our friends and our families. We just did everything that we possibly can about that.
Yeah, and I completely understand. It's really hard for someone to say, oh, you have to go vote for Biden, when they may have heard things that he said in the past that really stuck with them, that were wrong for him to say and are completely unacceptable. And it's hard for me to say, oh, you have to forget about that and just vote for him anyway. But the reality is, like you said, there's so many important parts to it. And it's not just about who's in charge of the country, but it's the policies they're going to implement. And it's about healthcare, and it's about women's rights. It's about so many things. And we have to what I've explained to some of my apathetic friends is, this isn't a marriage. You can't just decide to be single. You have to vote for someone, because you're going to have a president. Like, you can't just be single. Like, our country cannot be single. So it's one or the other. You have to make the best decision. And there's so many other parts to it. Like you said, I mean, at the city level, at the county level, at the state level. So everyone do your research. Don't just go in there on November 3rd thinking you know who you're going to vote for the top. Research. Make sure you know who you're voting for on the ballot underneath as well.
Yes, exactly. And the thing that I love about, you know, this Race in America special coming up is it's going to focus on voting and the Black vote. But just like, I know that they're going to touch on things like, just as women couldn't vote for so long. You know, Black people obviously couldn't vote for so long. They're going to touch on things like voter suppression, which is going on in front of our eyes. Like, it's insane what's going on right in front of our eyes. People are I heard that the Republicans in California are putting these fake ballot boxes out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. And I've seen the lines that are happening in Georgia right now, and they are out of control. And it's a good sign, because it means people are showing up, but it's also an unfortunate sign that there are not enough polling places available for early voting right now. So
exactly. And they're not putting polling places in, you know, low income areas.
Yes.
You know, the systems are suddenly and mysteriously shutting down when people are trying to vote. Like, there's just so many like moving parts that I feel like this special is going to touch on, but also just seeing it every day is insane.
Yeah, so guys, please make sure you're signing your mail-in ballots if you decided to do a mail-in ballot. And please make sure you're also, if not mailing it out securely, make sure you go to an official voting poll,
Yeah, an elections office.
Yes,
Check and make sure that these ballot boxes are like
dropping it
the
off.
accurate ballot boxes. Even the way that something as simple as filling out the form can
Yes.
invalidate your vote, which is
Yes.
mind blowing.
I even heard like if it's damaged a little bit or if you have like anything on it, for instance, like maybe like something greasy or food
Oh
or
no.
like any little thing. So make sure you fill it out on a clean desk or
Protect it like it's your
yes.
stimulus check. Like don't let it
Wow.
get ripped.
Yes.
Don't.
That's how my mom treats my social security card. So I'm going to treat it how my mom treats my social security card. I'm 26 years old. My mom has my social security card. It's not going anywhere. It's been there for 26 years and it's not damaged at all. And it's valid. Also, I heard that in certain states, you cannot share your vote on social media. So that's something that's also very important that I want to stress to you guys.
Yes, I don't know which states, but check the laws, because if you take a picture of your ballot and you live in a state where that's illegal, I don't know how they'll find you, but they will. I mean, they're watching everything you're doing.
Right.
They will invalidate your vote. Like, what a waste. And also, they can invalidate your vote if you don't sign it correctly. So you just make sure you're filling it out correctly, everybody.
Yes.
And if you request a mail-in ballot, at least this is how it is in Maryland. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but if you request a mail-in ballot and then you decide to go vote in person because you like didn't do it in time or something, you have to fill out a provisional ballot, which is only then counted once they decide that you didn't do a mail-in ballot. So it throws everything off. So if you request your mail-in ballot, just do that. I think that's the best way to do it.
That's another thing that I didn't know. See, there's all these crazy rules of it's like they're trying to discourage you to vote, but people who have been voting for years and years and in every election, they're on top of their game. They already know all these rules, and I feel like that's how some things are able to slip under the radar. But yeah, check that special out. November 1st. Most places the registration line is like it's done, like the date is done, but some people are still registering, even if you're not even if you're already registered to vote. Request your ballot and start your early voting. Vote as early as possible, securely as possible. And now we are going to get into Southern Charm Nolan's. Okay, so tell me what your first impressions are of Reagan, Tamika, Jeff, Barry, Justin, John Moody. Am I missing anyone? No, that's like 6.
I mean, there's like other people, but okay. I need to know though, Aaron, did you watch only the first episode, or have you watched more?
Okay, so here's the thing. You guys watched the first episode of the first season. I watched the first episode of the second season by accident.
What are you doing? I'm so glad that you waited until we got on here to tell me that. Because you know exactly what you're doing.
I did not know, but so far from what I see, I'm not going to spoil it because I know you guys probably want to talk about the first episode, but I will say that I love Tamika.
Yes.
I love Barry. I think they're an amazing couple from what I see so far.
Mom and dad.
Their goals, their family is cute. As for Reagan, I feel like I kind of see an imbalance between, I don't know if you guys want me to bring that up, between Reagan and Tamika's friendship. It's like a little.
Yeah, you can bring that up. That's definitely like a focal point of the second season because their friendship was so strong in the first season.
But I hope they get it together because I think they could be good friends. And then Jeff, I think I like Jeff. I'm not going to say I think everybody likes Jeff because I don't know for sure, but I like his hair.
I like Jeff. I would definitely 10 out of 10 smash Jeff. So
I have like a weird thing that I like Jeff, but I don't I don't like him in a romantic way, but I would love to be his friend. I feel
so
like
nice.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. And by the way, his hair in the first season is not cute. So anyone who just heard him say he has nice hair, go back and watch it, Aaron.
The second season.
The second season, they give him like a whole makeover, and like he's a new guy. But
he
he's
was
like
so cute after that.
Yeah, he definitely was.
How do you guys feel about John Moody?
I mean, okay, I don't want to give away too much, but John Moody does some stuff in the second season that makes me love him even more. Like, he's just like so well-rounded in terms of like his character. Like, he's way more than just like I don't want to say man whore. I don't like that. Whatever. He's a hoe. I don't know the right. What do you say?
A fuck boy. Yeah.
That's
fuck boy. In the first season, but in the second season, you see that there's a lot more depth to him, and I really like that about him. He's just beautiful to look at. I love his paintings, and he's super successful, and he's like I just feel like he's a really good person to have on TV because I think he shows young people that like they're allowed to express themselves creatively and be an artist. And I think a lot of boys are taught that they're supposed to play sports and not do that. And it's like, that's not true.
Oh my God.
And you can be like a really hot, ripped guy with like a 16-pack abs and be like look like that, and you're still like in touch with your creative side. And he clearly is like an athletic person. It's not like one or the other, and I love that about him. Like just that message he spreads. You
really said that so great, because it's like I feel like young men are expected to just be into the whole sports thing or being outside and stuff like that. So it's nice to see somebody that's doing something different for a change. It's like I'm into art myself. So to see a man bring out his sketchbook and be like, hey, yo, look at this. Like,
wow. And then his clients, like he's painted for Drake, he's painted for like the Obamas. Even if you go down his like timeline, which I have been many a times, he painted like a mural in honor of Black Panther. Like that's what okay, so in case you guys don't know, for you guys listening to the podcast, we decided, It's All Happening, Bravo, Ducking Bravo, Baby Ben Cohen, she's starting. We basically had, I just named everyone's Instagram. We basically had a Southern Charm New Orleans watch party, since we don't have anything to watch on Wednesdays at 9 until Salt Lake City premieres. So we watched season 1, episode 1. We all started at the same time, whether you went on Bravo on demand or whether you went on Peacock. I messed up. I went on demand. I got commercials, whatever.
Oh, it's also on Hulu. Someone messaged me today and said it's on Hulu. So
Nola is on Hulu?
Apparently. That's what someone told me. I don't know.
I would have known. Well, you know what? We got next week. So yeah, so we decided that we're going to just do a rewatch of that, especially since it's kind of up in the air. I personally feel as though it's coming back because of their placement in the Race in America special, and also the dynamics of the group, the diversity of the group, and also just the interest. Like last night, we had so many comments. We had 500 likes. This morning, I wake up, we have 900 likes. And this is just on a post on a show that's not even running. I got so many DMs about, people love Tamika. Tamika is a newscaster. She's New Orleans, like royalty, because her father was like in the Saints. That football team, and then she's married to Barry. Barry owns a gym, and they're like a power couple, and she's my idea of a modern woman. Like, she doesn't cook and clean, like she goes to work, she handles her business. Barry is like a super dad, he's doing the cooking, he's doing the cleaning, he's helping with the kids.
Amazing.
And and that's what I see for myself, honestly. That's my ideal man. Like, I want someone like Barry, and I want to be like a working woman, and I don't have to be like a little housewife,
And I love even with Reagan, who like says she loves throwing parties, she loves cooking, she loves that like homemaker type thing. But then it's like, but she's going to law school, and she obviously wants more for her life, and she seems like she's more of a go-getter. The thing that I love about this show, and you had mentioned this earlier, is that they're doing all of the things that we're talking about. We want a show to be on, to be like on Bravo, especially now, like you said, with the like kind of like reinvigoration of the Black Lives Matter movement. There's so much call for diversity, but they were doing this before, and they had it right before this even happened. Not saying that Black Lives Matter was not an organization that existed, because it did. It just didn't have as much traction in like the white community, for example. Like we all now are calling to Bravo to say the exact same things, but this show already did it. And it was an actual group of friends. You can tell that they have authentic relationships with each other. And I love that when they talk shit out at parties, they're just having a conversation and it's all happening in front of you. And they don't have to like meet at a coffee shop to discuss their feelings. Like they just have real conversations because it's not set up. It's authentic.
Exactly. I love that they're also working like regular, like not regular, but they're working jobs. Like we see them going to work, and we see them like, you know, we see Barry going into the gym. We see Tamika having to do her like waking up at like 4 a.m. to get it on the news. We see Reagan, she has a jewelry line. She is going to school and then she works on her jewelry line. It's like, we know what they do. This isn't just like a bunch of rich people that have nothing to do all day that just was like, oh, let's film a show. Like, yeah, they're making a show. It might not be
the cafe,
right? Like they're not just like, well, they are lollygag in some parts, but it's not a show that has a lot of made up drama. Like the drama is very authentic, and they tackle some hard things. Like for example, Barry and Tamika's son I think he gets like a ticket or something, right?
Yeah, he gets pulled over.
Gets pulled over. He gets like a ticket. They have a talk with him about being a Black man getting pulled over by the police. And then also, you know, Barry does something in the first season where he basically fucks up, and they talk about it on camera, you know, regarding like the LGBT community, and like he used, you know, a word that was very offensive. He apologized and he explained like where he was coming from and how he meant it.
And he just owned up to it. And I feel like all of the cast members on the show hold each other accountable for their actions in such a caring way. Like even when Jeff does something fucked up too, that's like, they're probably so annoyed with him, but they're just like, hey man, we love you. Like you need to get your shit together. And I feel like that is like what we're looking for. And they do it so easily. They don't drag out the drama. In one episode, they can have a fight and resolve it like all at one time. It's fine.
Exactly. It's not like a whole season long of like bullshit. Jeff, if you guys don't know about Jeff, he was playing in the NFL. He was in the Saints. You know, he got a lot of injuries from being a football player, obviously. And he opens up a bigger conversation about just like athletes in general suffering from like CTEs possibly, and just mental health. So that's something that they talk about that's like real life. And I like to see that play out, you know, on TV. As far as Justin is a mama's boy. He is a mama's boy, and his girlfriend is just like ready for him to propose. You know, like they have interesting dynamics without giving you too much. Like I want you guys to give this show a chance without expecting, you know, like the Real Housewives arguments, and without expecting like made up Vanderpump Rules, like late season drama. You know what I mean? It's more like Vanderpump Rules when we just meet them and they, you know, have these authentic friendships, and they have like these authentic like emotions, discussions, and drama like that. So
but they're like real adults, so there's not like that salacious hookup drama, which I appreciate, because I mean there's a time and a place for that, but I like that there's not like weird intermixing, although there are people who are together and they break up, and so we do navigate that like process of who are you going to be friends with, are you taking sides, are you not taking sides, which we see on Vanderpump Rules sometimes. So I think it really does have it all. I think that, what do you think about Kelsey? Because she's kind of like not a regular cast member, but she's in the mix. Like, what do you think about her?
I don't really have an opinion on Kelsey. Like, I don't think that Justin is ready to get married. And I kind of feel bad. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. Tamika can be a little instigator with that situation. She's basically telling him like, yo, shit or get off the pot. And it's a little bit rude, but obviously everyone can't be nice. So get off Tamika about that before you say anything. I just don't see Justin and Rachel like getting married anytime soon. I don't know. Like, I think he loves her, and I think that he loves having a girlfriend or like a fiance type without the commitment, especially when he's so comfortable to just like move back into his parents' house.
And he's like, oh, Kelsey, just come with me. I'm like, oh, it's a little awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love that Tamika like calls out her friend. I feel like she's like Giselle, but she's doing it because she actually cares. She's not just like
not just creating drama.
Right. So I like that. And what do you think about Gian? Because she's not really in season 2, but like,
yeah, I don't really have any. I just like the main cast members. Like, I can talk about Tamika, Barry, Justin, Jeff, John Moody, Reagan. Like, I don't really care about the friends of. Oh, you know who I do care about? Benny Poppins.
Oh, Benny Poppins.
Benny Poppins is the chef. Like, I don't care about Top Chef. I mean, I don't watch it, so no offense to them. But he's like the most important chef on Bravo. Benny Poppins.
He was on the first episode, right?
Yeah, he was. We meet him on the first episode, and then he appears in a few other episodes.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, I was doing some stalking, and Reagan and Benny Poppins actually like met up recently, and I don't know if they're doing like a cookbook, but I don't know. I feel like they all kind of like tease us instead of answering our direct questions, because they cannot confirm or deny if it's coming back if there's no official announcement from Bravo. But seeing her with Benny Poppins, I'm going to read you the caption. It's on Instagram. It's like her, Benny Poppins posing. Tamika liked it. It says, caught up with Chef Benny Poppins yesterday. We talked all things hashtag Southern Charm Nola and about everything we have been cooking up in the kitchen lately. We are going to get together and share some of our favorite Southern holiday recipes with y'all soon, so everyone can add a little Southern charm to their holiday tables. And then she winks. This was 2 days ago, and that's why I feel like it could possibly
it's definitely coming back.
Aaron is like, yeah, it's coming back. Aaron has decided to confirm.
It's so great because they don't have to do casting. They already have the cast. Just get the show. Like, we need new shows, but you don't need a new show for this. You just do it. And New Orleans is like the best city because there's always so much cool stuff going on. There's so much culture. The food is great.
Yeah. Like, can we talk about that? You went on a trip to New Orleans, right?
Yes, I went. I probably shouldn't have gone because like the day before my flight, we were debating and we decided to still go. It was March 8th. And on March 9th, there still were no cases in Louisiana. So we were like, okay, no big deal. I mean, big deal, but we're probably fine. So we land, and then like the next day, the whole NBA shut down. All the schools at home were closed, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, like what are we doing here?" And like we're on Bourbon Street. It's literally like the worst place you could be. And at that point, no one was wearing masks. They didn't know what to tell us to do. Like no one was giving us recommendations. They just kept saying, "Wash your hands." So we're like, okay. So we still went out to eat, but by the end we were like not taking Ubers. We couldn't take public transportation. We weren't going inside restaurants. We were like trying to eat outside as much as we could. We spent like way too much time in the hotel. So it was really fun, but we definitely lost like 2 days of our trip because we were freaked out. And I need to go back now because we also couldn't even go in like a crowded jazz club. We didn't want to go in crowded stores. And when we got home, I was really concerned because everywhere on the news, it was like, New Orleans is a hot spot for COVID. And I'm like, oh gosh. Like, but when we got there were no cases in the entire state. And we left on March 13th. And
so I want to ask you, Amanda, did you have any gumbo by chance?
I had so much gumbo. I ate gumbo, jambalaya.
My gosh.
I literally ate everything. I had probably like 5 beignets when I was there.
That's what I want. That's what I like. Okay.
If you go to New Orleans, you have to get beignets at Cafe Mondo,
Iguanas.
I think. There's a couple different places that you can go to, but you have to get beignets. They have this like coffee that's like a combination of coffee. Like there's basically everything. You can't go wrong. I didn't eat a single thing there that I didn't like. And I would say that the jambalaya is probably my favorite. And then you have to go to Magazine Street and just like walk around. There's beautiful trees. You have to take the Charles Street streetcars.
Ooh.
And it's just so fun. And like I said, when I was watching the show, I heard them talking about all of these places that I went to, and it made it so much more exciting. And you can go to lots of museums and learn a lot about the history. The ghost tours are really fun. So I think we all need to go.
I should, because I mean, it is my birthplace, and I feel like
yeah, Aaron's gonna tell you one thing about Aaron. He's gonna tell you, even though we live in South Florida, he's gonna tell you that he was born in Nolans. So go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, I was born in Nola, and it's embarrassing when people tell me about it, because I feel like I should know all of these things, and I don't. The only thing I know is about the jambalaya and gumbo. I don't really.
He doesn't remember anything because you came here when you were like one day or something.
Not one day. I was like,
that's so crazy.
Once I came to Florida, and I've been trapped here ever since. So
3 or 4, you said.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So one day.
Wow. Yes. You have to go back. I can't believe that. You have to go back. We all have to go back. But it's just hard because it's like one of those places where even if right now you feel comfortable doing some things in your hometown, that's not the place I would go visit right now, because it's like you really need to be like going everywhere and enjoying everything. Yeah, and even like
freely.
And like the last night, and it's crazy because in Louisiana, you can just like drink on the streets. Like you can just like drink everywhere. So like Bourbon Street is insane. So we left on March 13th. At this point, they were telling people to quarantine, but like we couldn't because we weren't home. And so the last night, they had already shut down the parades that were happening that weekend. And there were still people like partying in the streets like crazy. It was wild. I know it wasn't Mardi Gras, but it looked like it could have been. I would have believed it was Mardi Gras. Like just a regular like Friday night is just like that. So you have to go when it's like acceptable to be around. But we should try to be friends with Tamika and Barry and have them invite us to parties.
Right. I spoke it into existence. Like I'm going to move to New Orleans, and I'm going to get a job as a waitress. And then I'm going to like run into John Moody the way that one girl like ran into Zac Efron, and now she's like with Zac Efron. Like, but mine is going to be Bravo related instead of Zac Efron related, and that's that. And then if that doesn't happen, I'll just accept the season 3 and we're going to be all right.
I know. I mean, it needs to happen. I feel like it's probably like how Vanderpump Rules is not canceled but isn't coming back. Like it's like we don't know if it's coming back, so it's probably in that weird, but
it's a limbo.
Tell me though, when is the last time they filmed?
The last time New Orleans filmed?
Yeah, like
it was
when
the beginning of last year, I believe, and then it premiered in the summer, I think. But either way, this is what I wanted to say. Shahs of Sunset, I believe, took like a full year off before, where we didn't know if they were coming back. So it's not uncommon for shows to go on a hiatus while the network figure out like what's working. So that's why I feel like we shouldn't lose hope in it, especially because of, Reagan's last post, especially because Tamika, Barry, and Moody showing up in the voting special. So I just feel like you guys give the show a chance, watch it, comment on Bravo and tell them that you want to see more of it, or not even go to Bravo, go to me and Amanda's posts and just talk your heart out about Southern Charm New Orleans like we did last night. Like my comment section has literally 260 something comments. Granted, like 100 of them are me, but we were having a watch party. So what do you expect?
And I
So
was
that's
live tweeting, but I only
yes.
have 9 followers because I just started Twitter. So
That's an
follow me on
upgrade.
Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Yeah, an upgrade. I got 1 more follower last night, probably because of my live tweeting. So go follow me. The issue is that on Twitter, my name is @happening_pod. You should go follow me now. But it's different than my Instagram name. So I feel like people can't find me as easily.
That's why you gotta keep promoting it on your Instagram. And like
I
when
know.
you're set to live tweet, every time we're set to live tweet something, like for example, Potomac, just go to your stories and be like, yo, tonight I'm live tweeting at happening, or what is your thing again? Yeah, see, I can't even
Happening.
remember.
Happening_pod, like podcast. I'm telling you, the word happening is way too long. I kept running out of characters. It was being crazy. But I just looked, and the last time Southern Charm New Orleans was on TV was August 11th, 2019, which
Right.
really was only a year ago. And it's
Exactly.
like, they probably normally film in the spring because they start with the Mardi Gras and like the part, you know what I mean? Like the spring.
Yeah.
So obviously they couldn't film in this March.
Exactly.
So.
And without giving too much away, a lot has happened from season 1 to season 2. A lot changes, but then also after season 2 wrapped, a lot has changed. Like, you know, stuff has been happening, so they have so much to like pick up on. And then especially like now that on Bravo they're addressing the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I would like to hear their takes on it, especially with John Moody and his art, Tamika and her newscasting, you know, like just their take on everything. And I like follow all of them on Instagram, so I already know what's going on.
And I love that they've already been having those difficult conversations, especially in groups of people. Like they're having conversations in their diverse group. It's not just these like conversations that are happening with just Black Americans where they're all talking about it and everyone's listening and sharing their unique experiences, which I think is really interesting. Because like, was it Justin or Barry who talked? Oh, it was Barry. So Barry talked about the first time he realized that he was going to be judged differently by the police. Mm-hmm. And he said it didn't happen to him until he was 25 years old. Exactly. And that's different than a lot of people who have those experiences growing up. And so I feel like it's good for us to hear that, like, just because you have one Black friend who says, oh, I've never been stopped by the police, I don't have an issue, because, you know, it's like, that doesn't mean that's what is happening to everybody. You can't just listen to one person.
And I love that. I love seeing that, because the thing is that, you know, a lot of Black people don't talk about racism. Well, before a while before this, a lot of Black people don't want to talk about racism with their white friends or in front of their white friends, because it makes them feel like uncomfortable. Not the Black people, but the white people. And it's like, yo, if these are your friends, like these people are friends, they're gonna want to hear and they're gonna want to make a change, you know, so you don't feel that way, so you feel comfortable, and so that they can, you know, pass this knowledge on to other white people like we're doing now in this moment. So it's a great show to watch. And I mean, if you're not sold on this podcast, then just go and watch it for yourself, and then you come back and you tell us like, oh, Amanda, Kaya, Aaron, you guys are so right, it's an amazing show. And then when they come back,
that's what they're gonna say.
Yeah, when they come back for season 3, we'll be like, yeah, we fucking brought the show back. But anyways.
And I do have a disclaimer, like Aaron won't know because he watched season 2, but I feel like it gets better, and I feel like I feel like the first couple episodes they were trying to maybe make some things happen, like not they were trying to make it, but like the whole drama with Gian and John Moody and Barry, and it's like, I think they realized quickly that like that's not authentic, and what's really happening in their lives is enough. And I think the first time I watched it, I thought Tamika is a powerhouse, and it's like all of it is on Tamika's shoulders, because I felt like without her, the show wouldn't really have that much. But I don't mind that. Like, I don't mind it being that she's like the one who's bringing all of these things to light, and everyone else is kind of like along, I mean, for the ride.
There has to be a Nene, there has to be a Giselle, there has to be a Lisa Rinna, and like, you know, Tamika is it.
She is.
They go through like this phase, you know, like Aaron said, that their friendship is, you know, it takes a strain, but in real life, well, by the end of season 2, you know, the strain isn't really completely fixed. It actually kind of gets a little bit worse. Ooh. But in real life, they are, you know, they're friends, like, because they're real life friends. So, you know, they get it together. And we didn't see that happen on camera, but, you know, I want them to come back. I want them to talk about it. I want them to, you know, show their new relationship now and update us on everything that's happening. Do you want to add any last thoughts to Southern Charm New Orleans before we move on?
I would like to make a plug for Aaron to catch up with the first episode so that next week we have to all watch episode 2 at the same time.
Right.
Wednesday at 9, and I'll live tweet. You should do an Instagram post again. I felt like that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it definitely did. If you guys are listening to this, Baby Ben Cohen, bravo, ducking bravo. She's starting. All you guys get your asses back on Wednesday at 9. Obviously, I'm going to make an announcement about it. And let's just collectively thirst after John Moody, collectively stand Tamika, and collectively call them couple goals.
Yes. And also, if I can plug myself for a second, I'm going on Ono Bravo Live tomorrow night. And she said she's going to watch the first episode so we can talk about it on there too. So that'll be good. So she'll be caught up. It's a movement.
Yeah. The Southern Charm's New Orleans movement.
And everyone is probably like, what the fuck are these people talking about? Some people messaged me and were like, where do I find, what are you talking about? I didn't even know they had a New Orleans. And I'm just like, listen, what you gonna do is you're going to go on demand, or you're going to go on fucking Peacock. Peacock should literally cut me a fucking check. And you're going to look for Southern Charm, but not the one with all white people. The one that has white people and black people on it.
Yes. It's so great.
Like when people get on Bravo and they have shows carrying themselves maturely, people are just like, I'm bored.
Yeah, and that's the first few episodes.
It's really good.
Not want to stick to it, but it picks up. Yeah,
you have to give them a chance to, like, they're probably acting right in the beginning because they're trying, and then Jeff is like, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna go run into the middle of the night, like, whatever.
So you just mess, honey.
Yeah, you have to just, like, let them do it. You just have to let them get to that point. I think that they were probably overproducing themselves for just a couple episodes, but that's just the beginning, you know, like they'll get over, and it's still entertaining, but it gets more exciting.
Also, shout out to Tamika's cousin, and also shout out to Robin, the singer from episode 1.
She's so good. She sings like an angel. I need to follow her.
Yeah, I need to find her. Like, you ever think about these people from, like, the old shows? Like, for example, Tina, that was, like, Sheena's friend from, like, season 1 and 2. Like, how's she doing?
So Sheena actually talked about Tina on a recent podcast where she said, you know, like, they were actually friends, and she was like, Tina's an amazing, talented person. She was wonderful, and she was on the first season. Like, why isn't she coming back? Like, why can't Bravo say, hey, let's offer you an actual role on this show? And it's like, she's friends with Sandoval. Like, she would be an authentic person. She and Sandoval did projects together before. She would be an authentic friend to actually bring in and add something to the show. But it's like, we already know her and like her. It's like, why can't she come on? But I think
it would be so nostalgic too. Like, we can be like, oh my God, it's Tina.
Yes. But I did hear rumors, and I don't know how much this is true, but somebody posted an article that was like, Jasmine might be joining Vanderpump Rules.
It was me.
It comes back. Yes.
It was me. 'Twas I. So let's talk about it. We're moved up. Okay, we wrapped up Southern Charm New Orleans. Go stream it, watch it, whatever you do. Watch it before next Wednesday when we watch episode 2. So Vanderpump Rules, I heard that Jasmine Good from the Bachelor franchises, from the Bachelor Nation, is allegedly, I know that she's friends with Sheena because she's like, she hung out with Sheena before. I've seen her on Sheena's social media, and I think that she was on her podcast. I'm not Sure.
She was. It was a really good episode because they talked a lot about The Bachelor, and Jasmine brought some really good insight into like talking about diversity in the cast, but she was like, what people don't talk about is the diversity in the crew. And she was like, there was not a single person in Bachelor in Paradise on the crew that I could talk to that's a Black person who could understand, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much more to, it's not just the cast that's in front of the camera. It's also like the people, the behind the scenes. And what people don't like to say is that the producers help them. Like, they help them survive this ridiculous situation. They talk them off the ledge. They give them that support. They're like mentors. And so if you don't have anyone who like looks like you in the entire crew, and you can't explain, like, I'm having to. Right. And it's like, not that that's the only people you can relate to, because like, look at us, we're talking and we're friends, but it's just different. It's hard when you show up to a workplace and nobody looks like you. That's not helpful. So I felt like Jasmine did a good job bringing that to light. I'm glad Sheena had her on her podcast and gave her that platform. So I'm all about it. I hope she joins.
Yeah. I read this article, and she's friends with James's girlfriend, Raquel, allegedly. I heard that she was also working at SIR before it got shut down, and now that it's back open, I heard that she's still working there. And then if she's friends with Sheena, who's also friends with, like, they're friends with James and Raquel, I feel, right?
They've been hanging out a lot more.
Okay, so then she will fit, like, right in. I think she's perfect for it. And Tina. Like, why not bring Jasmine and Tina? Like, we don't have to just have like, we can have one.
Right. I mean, I would like for them to come back. Some people are like, just throw the whole franchise away.
No.
I don't know. Aaron, do you want it to come back?
I mean, I do, but I want it to come back obviously without certain cast members, which they already got rid of them. So if they include the diversity, I think, why not? I think it's a great concept. It's just missing certain things, like the diversity.
Yeah. And people say that the diversity is not lacking in the staff at the restaurant. It's just about casting them on the show. So it's like,
exactly,
get it together, people. Like,
and then it's a lot going on behind the scenes too, because Sheena is beefing with Lala Kent now.
And yeah,
she says she's never speaking to them again. Lala and what's your word for Stassi?
Redacted? You mean
redacted?
No, redacted.
Yes.
That's fine, because guess what? Lala's gonna need someone to be friends with on the show if she wants to come back to the show, but Lala also doesn't need the show.
And I hope she comes back, but you know.
Yeah, me too. But you know what? Talking about diversity, I just want to circle around to that. I feel that if you're going to have a show set in West Hollywood, which is a notoriously gay area, you should definitely have not only, like, you know, more than one race, but you should also have LGBT people on the show, especially because they love to have an annual Pride episode. And the one, you know, trans woman that was on the show, they ran off. And it's not hard to find, like, even on the show, you know, there's been a gay guy, but he's always in the background. So, and then also the whole thing with Logan, it was more of a like, oh, you know, James might be bisexual. Like, give a gay person, an LGBT identifying person, an actual, like, storyline.
Yeah. I know. And I talked about this with Samaj recently, who I know you guys are friends with. He and I were talking about this, that like, there are tons of times when you see bisexual women on Bravo, but they're always in heteronormative relationships. And they're always like dating or married to a man, and they're like have like a side sexual relationship with a woman, which is fine because they are bisexual. They're allowed to be married to men. That's absolutely fine. But it would be nice if they would actually show either a bisexual woman or a lesbian woman in an actual like homosexual relationship, to show it on TV. Like, they don't actually show those relationships on TV, or like a gay man or more transgender people, because it's like they need to do a better job of representing the community that they're supposed to be representing. And they talk about how they're so like free and open-minded, and it's like, I don't
But
know.
then especially with Vanderpump Rules though, because it's like, how are you going to have a Pride episode every single season and you don't really have any Pride? So
Because they think that Jax and Tom are enough for the LGBT community.
every single time.
And honey, that little storyline with him and his, the guy that
They used to live with in Miami.
the guy that he used to live with. Come on, that's not enough, guys.
And he's like, "Oh, I've always loved you."
I'm sure.
It was just very awkward.
It's like it's a lot of unanswered questions with that.
Exactly. And
Right.
especially
I think a lot of it was editing because, like, you could hear Jax was talking and, like, the way they made it sound like he was saying, like, I was so young when I met you, I just got into it, meaning, like, got into, like, the gay life. But he was talking about modeling. Like, he was talking about modeling.
it's implied, though.
The
And you know
editors,
what? That was season, like, 2 or 3. And you know what? We were so into it.
I stand by it. I stood by it, and I still stand by it. Like, I want them to bring that storyline back.
No, okay, Aaron, I'm going to have a sidebar with you. We're not bringing that shit back. We're going to
I don't know.
Out and proud people. We're not going to have these low-key, stupid
Yeah,
ass.
no, I want out and proud people too, but
imagine,
drama.
Just imagine if Jax, like, came on Bravo and at, like, the next reunion and was like, listen, the truth is I've been suppressing these feelings and that's why I'm such an asshole, and it's not an excuse, but now that I'm out and proud, I'm gonna, like, be such a better person. Like, I can just imagine how great that would be.
In an ideal world, honey. Yeah, okay, for me personally, I feel like in my ideal world, the original Vanderpump Rules is kind of like played. I don't know. I think we should have a spin-off show with, like, the people who are too big for the show, which would be Sheena, James, Raquel. I like the new girls. And then we should have a reboot with all fresh faces, or we should just take it to Vegas. So in you guys', Amanda, I'll ask you first. What's your ideal situation for a Vanderpump Rules return if they were going to return?
Okay, so my ideal situation for a return would obviously be Sheena. I like her, and I want to see Brock because, like, that's a new relationship. I'd like to see them navigating, like, the long distance thing, or, like, if she's going to be in LA and he's going to be in San Diego, like, the back and forth situation. I love Raquel and James. I want to see them. I like Charlie. I like all the, like, Danica is so interesting to me. I don't love Dana, but, like, she can come if she wants. And then I like the Toms. I don't like Tom's shorts, but he can come too. And I like Katie. So, and Ariana, obviously. So that's, like, what the crew I would like. I feel like Jax and Brittany are coming along. I don't really like them to be there, but it seems like they're probably going to be. And
I guess they can be on, like, the OG show, but they can't just, like, Jax can't make his storyline, like, being a bitch and, like, getting mad about a pool party like it was last season.
I feel like he's just gonna be like, actually, yeah.
Like, and I also don't want to see him sulking about having to come second to the baby. Like, I will literally rip my hair out. So I think that Jax is going to need some character development. So for mine, it'll be the OGs on a separate show and then fresh faces on a new show. How about you, Aaron? If Vanderpump Rules came back, what do you want to see other than the fucking Jax?
That's what I want to see because I can't listen.
I'll allow you to have it, but what else is going to go on?
I would like to also see, in addition to that, Shayna. I hear you guys like Katie. I hear it all the time, and I respect it. But Katie can go.
I mean, she can go. I don't really care that much.
Wow. Okay.
Look at.
I guess you're allowed to have your opinion, so I'm just gonna shut up.
Should stay. James, of course. Like, James has to be on it, and then Jax for the entertainment and the drama and for the storyline. I'm not gonna mention it anymore, but
I do like having someone we all hate together. It's, like, nice to have that, like, collective, like how we all hate Michael Darby. It's, like, kind of nice to just all be like, fuck you, Michael Darby.
Wait a minute, who said that?
don't really hate Michael Darby.
What?
Because listen, hear me out. It's because, like, obviously I don't like the way he's doing my girl Ashley, because Ashley has become a favorite of mine. But I feel like now that we know that, you know, what their situation was, I feel like he knows what he's doing. I just don't like him, you know, touching people without permission. That I don't like.
My name is Aaron, and I support that message because
right.
I
Keep
agree.
your hands to yourself.
Whatever's going on with Ashley, you know, that's her business.
I know.
Listen,
but
she told us what it was, and we see what it is. So,
she also told me happy birthday, so like I can't.
Aww. That's so
Thanks
sweet.
to Samaj. So
yes,
like,
shout out to Samaj.
Samaj
Can't wait to see what I get for my birthday, December 23rd. But yeah. So,
we gotta find like a Bravo guy that you really
like Luke from Summer House.
Oh, you could get him to do like a cameo, right?
Yeah, but I don't want anyone to fucking like pay for it. I feel like it's not authentic.
I see.
Like, no.
You have to pretend.
No, I can't, because I'm hot in real life. So it's like, you're gonna tell me happy birthday and you're gonna do it for free.
Yeah, and it has like the cameo like logo, so it's like You're gonna know.
Like, I can't even take the watermark off just to pretend. Like, they're not gonna let me live my best life. So I guess
It's smart that they do that though, so people can't use cameos to act like they have some sort of like weird like inside
clout.
Right.
Yeah, clout. Like, I mean, I use my cameo to act like I have clout.
But
everyone knows that someone paid for it, but
you still credit cameo. That's the most important part. Because me personally, I would just crop the eyelids of me having the cameo conversation with somebody. Or just...
Wait, can you talk about the Pence Fly cameo you found? Have you paid for that?
Oh my god, no! But I saw it when I was scrolling. I just occasionally scroll Cameo just to see if like Eminem or Drake pops up there one day, because those I would pay for. But I saw the fly from Mike Pence's head on Cameo, and he charges $25, and he has 17 reviews so far, and I'm like,
shut up. Did you read the reviews?
Is it? Yeah, and they actually like have really good reviews. They say that he's a funny fly. They say all this shit, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I wish I thought of that idea. Like,
is he a guy in a fly costume? That's what I need to know.
Just wait till something else like that happens. I'm gonna jump on that shit.
Right? Now that we know that people are willing to pay for it, we're gonna be the first ones to do it, honestly.
I mean, even if someone, like one person pays me $25,
right?
Like,
that's a come up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm there.
Like
Buzz. One called She by Sheree Joggers.
You know what?
Oh my gosh. I know, because I thought about it and I was like, should I do a Patreon? And then I'm like, okay, I feel like my mom would sign up. And like, but then I'm like, well, that's $5. Like, maybe I should.
Like, hello, she's your mom, but she has to give you $5. So she just gets content in return. But either way, she better give you $5.
I just can't imagine like not putting my content out for free at this point, because I would literally like pay someone to listen to me talk like all the time.
You said this before, like that's why you made your page, right? Can you get into why you made your page?
I made my page because I kept doing Instagram videos on my personal account, and I was like, people keep not watching them anymore because I'm like talking so much about Stassi, redacted, Schroeder,
ma'am.
And there was so much going on in Bravo, and I was like, half my friends don't know what I'm talking about. And so I just was like joking with one of my friends. Well, I wasn't actually joking. I was like, we should do a podcast. And she kept saying yes. And she was like egging me on. And then she like bailed on me. I'm like, well, I'm still doing it. Like, I'm still doing it. And here I am.
You were like, I'm going to mention it all. And now you've grown like a little community. Like, that's my favorite thing about it.
I know. I love everybody.
Right.
I love everybody. And like people are so nice, and they'll send me stuff that I had like about something I had posted forever ago. Like I'm sure you get that too. Like I'm like, oh, somebody just messaged me and was like, weird crossover. They sing the Pretty Little Liars theme song in an episode of Gossip Girl. And I'm like, I did both of those polls. You know what I mean? Like I did both of those brackets. And so they were like, you're the only person who I knew would appreciate this. I'm like, yes, you know me. Like, you know me.
Like inside jokes with the people that follow you. And I feel like that's like one of my favorite things about having a page. And then just the fact that people would actually like care enough to like listen to your podcast or even just care enough to respond to your story. It's just like, thank you.
It's always so surprising to me.
Yeah, same.
And then
especially like people asking me to like other podcasters asking us to go on their podcast, like when you asked us on, when Taria asked us on, we're doing Manny, we're doing Mocha Minutes, and it's like, you really want to hear me talk? Like you really give a fuck about anything that I have to say?
Seriously care.
That's
You're
awesome.
not just saying it.
You like me. You
I know.
really like me.
I'm going to go on Is This Real Life with Mandy Slutsker this week. And like, I was like really fangirling out when she messaged me, just because like most of the people I've asked on are people that like I've DM'd with a bunch of times and I already feel like we're friends. You know, like I don't really ask people on that I like don't talk to that much. So I was like, wow, this is so cool. It's like the first time I felt like I was approached by somebody that like wasn't asking me just because we were friends. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right.
So that was exciting.
Yeah, she wants to talk to you. And then we did your podcast and I got a few messages, you know, like a few messages saying that they heard, especially from Oh No Bravo. Oh No Bravo was like, oh my God, I'm listening to Amanda's podcast. And you remember when we got asked for the Potomac Zoom and like we had like a little trip down memory lane, and then I got some followers from your podcast, and hopefully you get some followers from my like Nola rewatch in our podcast. So it's like a fun little thing.
I appreciate both of you so much for having me here. It's been so much fun. This is like such a fun little surprise.
Right.
I've had like the craziest day, so it's nice to like unwind with this.
Same. Oh my gosh. Same. And it's always great having you on. Like,
yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and shout out to say whatever you want to say to our listeners and your listeners before we end this Zoom. That was amazing.
Follow me, everyone. Like, I don't like what is happening. Like, if you don't follow me already, like, be my friend. I will DM you all day long. If you want me to, you can mute me. It's fine. I am at Itsallhappeningx on Instagram, and then very confusing on Twitter. I am at happening_pod, as in like podcast. And I'll be your best friend. You just have to follow me, and then like we're cool. And watch Southern Charm New Orleans.
And there you heard it, you guys.
You heard what Amanda said. Follow her on the Instagram, on the Twitter chat.
Oh, that's what's up.
And yes, and my mother-in-law calls my podcast my Instant Pot because she gets confused about Instagram and podcast, and she's like, "You're Instapot." Dude, like, this is so embarrassing. Like,
my mom wants to know when I'm gonna finish the podcast, and I'm like, that's not how it works at all. Like, you keep going
Series finale.
Because she thinks it works like a show. It's like 12 episodes and that's it, and then we'll see you next year. That's like how my mom thinks of it.
Every single time I'm like, oh, I'm about to record the podcast, she's like, well, didn't you just do one? And I'm like, well, that's literally the point.
Is your season over yet?
I'm so proud of you guys though, because you've done them way more consistently lately. Like, you said that you were like, I'm gonna be better about like getting them out every week, and like it's been really good. I'm
the
happy
fact
about
that you paid attention to us saying that, like,
but also not Amanda literally calling us out on our fucking show.
No, it's just like, I think in the beginning, were you doing them every other week?
Yeah, we don't even have we didn't have a schedule.
we were just like, so you want to get podcast?
People were like, when is your next one coming out? And I'm like, well, girl, one day, like.
You're like, let me check my calendar.
Like, I mean, because there's always something to talk about, obviously, but you know, we usually don't talk this long either. Like, we've been talking for like an hour and a half now, so that's what I like about having guests now. But I think this reminds me of the time that you literally asked me, like, how the hell did you get a swipe up?
Okay, but I didn't mean it like that. I was like, shit, like, did I miss something? So I go to your page to see, like, did I miss you getting 10,000 followers? And then you didn't have it yet. Sorry, no offense. I'm not even close, so don't be offended. And I was like, wait, how did you do that? And then you taught me, but I still haven't done it yet. I need to figure that out.
Yeah, guys. Okay, so what you have to do is to get a swipe up. It's not for like any page. When you have under 10K, or if you're not verified, the way you do a swipe up is you upload an IGTV video, so it has to be longer than a minute. And then when you go to your story, you press the little link thing, and it'll let you add a link, but it'll only let you add an IGTV link. So that's just like a fun Instagram fact for you guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
On the technical tip today. So.
You know. Well, thank you guys for joining us. This will be up shortly, and we love you.
Oh my gosh, I love you both. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yes.
Love
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.